welcome back to the channel, and I hope that you have been keeping well. Now, before we jump into the video, I just want to say that our Vertex funding has now got a Discord, which is for free and open to anyone that can join. For if you have any questions or you want to speak to other members who are using our funding, you can see our payouts. We have a transparency section, all sorts. We're going to put a lot of content in there as well. So if you want to join that, the link will be somewhere in the description below that you can click and then join if you're considering going for Vertex funding. Now, I hope that you've enjoyed the previous few videos. Now, the question that we get is about the Vertex Blueprint EA. Is it really as good as the Edge? Now, the answer to that question is whatever you see and whatever you test with the Edge is exactly what the EA will do. The EA is programmed to trade exactly how I'm teaching in this very video. Like what you're seeing is live. Well, these are obviously back-tested videos, but these are live trades that were taken, as you see in the screenshots. Uh, these are live executions of the Blueprint Edge using the EA. All the trades that you're going to see have been taken on my account, and none of them were taken manually. They were all done by the EA. So I've not had to manually trade at all, just because the EA is doing it for me. But obviously, these videos are also to show you how effective the Edge actually is, and it's also meant to supplement the content that was given in the PDF. Now, if you haven't joined the PDF, or if you haven't bought the PDF, sorry, there will be a link in the description as well. So let's crack on. So the first one is AU, and this is AU London on the 30th of April. So I've just gone forward a little bit just because the recording was quite long. So coming into AU, you'll see we'll have a buy. So we have our sweep and then we have our entry. And it'll eventually hit our TP. This was quite a clean, smooth trade. There we go. So coming into this, so we have our AU move. So our 15-minute, this is very, very clear sweep, which means we're looking to go long. Now coming into this, now this is probably a bit that's going to be confusing for some, is we have our external range, which is our major range, coming to here and here, and then we have this sweep, which is exactly where the trade was taken off. As you can see, in terms of the execution was perfect, which is again the benefit of using the EA. But obviously you could have entered this trade manually with I'm just going to put it roughly because you guys should know by now how this works, with our stop loss 0.5 pips below the low, and then because it's below, what am I saying, it's below 3 pips, so we're aiming for 5R, which eventually hits there, somewhere there. So about there on this candle. So in this case, I mean, we started the session at 7, entry was at 7:13, so 13 minutes in, and the TP was hit in 20 minutes to hit 5R, which is a massive rate of return in terms of what you're getting, in terms of how easy the Edge execution actually is. But that was AU. Now just remember, all these trades that you're seeing can all be back tested, which is what I want to revert back to the start of the video, where I said, for those of you who are questioning about whether the EA does what it should do, you've just seen a live execution. You've seen the trade that you can trade manually yourself. Now, if you want to have an idea of what the Edge can actually do, you can backtest this Edge from the information I'm giving you here for free, and then that will give you an idea of what you would want and what you would expect going forward. Everything else is dependent on you in terms of what pairs you use, what timeframes you use, which is again another beauty of having the EA is you can change your entry time frame, you can change the buyer's time frame to adjust your needs. So I'm working on several set files for some that would work on prop firms, for those who want to swing trade, for those who want to trade a bit more aggressive. I'm working on several set files that I can give you, but the system and the rules are exactly the same. It's just a matter of how you execute. Let's move on to the next trade. So you've seen all the YouTube videos. With the right guidance, you have seen how quickly you can learn the Edge. You've also seen live manual and algo executions of the edge. And for those of you who haven't joined either the algo or the Discord, still have questions like this. So what I've done now is I've created a PDF that covers every single aspect of the edge, from bias to entry to invalidation, as well as trade management. And that's all in one file. All you need to do is scroll down to the bottom of the page, click the link, and download your file now. So next we have EU, and this was taken on the 1st of May. So this is EU London. And let me just move into London session. There we go. Okay, so we're coming into London. So we have our first trade, which then loses, and then we have our second trade coming up soon. This one gets very close to stop loss, as you can see, and then we eventually fly, and then we hit TP. Okay, so coming into EU, very, very simple. I've just marked it out just because it's easy for the sake of recording. By now, if you haven't watched the previous videos, be sure to do so, just so you can catch up with what's going on in these videos. These videos are showcasing and their trade breakdowns. However, there's more detail across all the videos put together, which you'll need to just put some time into and actually learn the edge yourself. Of course, this is all compacted into the PDF as well if you're thinking about manually trading. Now, in terms of here, what we have is the lowest taken, so we're also looking to go long. So coming into session, first trade, we have the sweep here, entry taken off. We have our sweeping candle, refinement candle, break out the refinement, then we have our entry, which eventually gets taken out. We don't have a sweep here. These are all both the level. We have a sweep here. Now, this is our sweeping candle. Now, after a sweeping candle, it gets triggered just after the stop loss below the low. Obviously, ignore this candle. Stop loss below the lowest point of these two candles, which in this case is this one, the sweeping candle. And then we eventually hit our target. Very smooth, very easy. And this was a case of entry in 32 minutes of the session, and then TP hit in the space of 13 minutes, which is absolutely crazy. And again, with the speed of entry like that, in terms of, in this case, you still would have been fine. But say by the time you entered, you probably would have been late. Or to be fair, if you were late, you probably would have got a better entry in this case. But say, for example, if you were late by here, your stop loss would be bigger, which means your target would have to be bigger. And again, there is a risk of potentially missing the trade. Like in this case, obviously this just skips TP, swipes back down, which if you're using the EA, you would have hit your stop profit, which is perfectly fine. You still would have banked on the trade. Then obviously eventually hits TP. But in these cases, in the event that if it did reverse, you would have missed out on TP just because of pure poor execution. And again, if you're going to manually trade, the best thing to do is to use a trade manager that will allow you just to click and enter, that will work out your stop loss, work out your lot size, everything for you, just for the sake of ease and speed, which you'll need. Let's move on to the next trade. So moving on to the next trade, we have GU, and again, this is on the 1st of May, London session. So I've just zoomed into just where the trade actually was. So in this case, coming into the session, we're looking for buys. We have a perfect entry there on the just on the breakout of the sweeping candle, and then we eventually go and hit TP. It's a very similar situation to how EU was as well. There we go. So TP was hit. So coming into this, oh, I actually didn't mark this out. I thought I did. Anyway, so we obviously have a sweep of the low, which means coming into session, we're looking to go long. Now we have our external range here, which is our major range. Now coming in, there's no sweep there, no sweep here. They're level. We have a sweep from the major range low. We have this sweep, and then we have our sweeping candle, and then we have our entry here. Now, as you saw in the recording, the low was formed before the entry was triggered. So in this case, the stop loss was 3 pips, and then it means that we're aiming for 3R, which is there. And then we eventually hit our target. So again, our entry was 22 minutes into the session, and target was hit in 23 minutes. Now, the reason why I'm emphasizing the speed is not that we want to make quick profits. That's not what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to emphasize the effect and the power of having a high rate of return. It's not just about having a return. For example, I used to swing trade back when I was working full time as a physio, and in that time, my swing trades were aiming for 3 to 5 R. Now, in that case, those 3 to 5 R would be hitting across a couple weeks, and that is when you obviously get swap charges, which can be positive or negative, and you lose out. You can potentially lose out more. Now in this case, you are hitting that same target with very minimal, like the risk in terms of what you're risking is not any more aggressive than normal trading as such, because you have a very strict window, you have a strict trade management rule in terms of how many trades you're taking in the session, so you know exactly what you're risking every time you come into the session, and every time you open the charts, you know exactly what you're doing. It's the exact same. That doesn't make any difference, but the difference here in terms of the target hitting is that the speed of which you're hitting the same target is quicker, and that is what a rate of return, that is what I mean by when I say the rate of return is much higher. Let's move on to the next trade. So we're going to look at USDCAD, and this is USDCAD in London session. Oh, I've gone a bit too far. There we go. Sorry, this is USDCAD London session on the 1st of May, and let's just play. So this is now the session has started. So we take our first sell and loss, and then we get our next entry. As you can see, the very clean entry on the execution. As soon as we break out, and then we eventually go and hit TP, which is there. And what I am going to show you as well, this is USDCAD. This is the second trade, this is the last trade that we'll be doing as well, and this was in New York. So let's just go to our New York session time, which is starting very soon. Okay, so New York just starts now. Can't remember when this trade actually was. So we hit our first loss there. Now we got our second entry, which loses, and this is our last entry. So we got two losses, and then this is the win, which also gets very, very close, but eventually hits our target, which you'll see. So this is again 1st of May USDCAD New York session. So where's London? Okay, so coming into London, what we can see is we first take out the high, so which means that we're looking to go short. We just need to be aware of that as soon as that low gets taken, we're going to look to go long. Now coming into the session here, so why is that not going? There we go. So coming into the session, let me zoom in. Okay, so we have a sweep here. I won't mark all the trades as you've just seen them. So we have a sweep here, and we have an entry which straight away gets taken out. Again, we have another sweep entry, straight away gets taken out, and then no re-entry until we get to this point where we have so in this case, this is sorry, I confused myself there. So we had this trade, and then that one gets taken out by this move here, and then we have our last sweep, which can be either or in this case. So we have this sweep with the entry of the breakout of this sweeping candle, and let's go here, and then TP stop losses above here, and then target was somewhere over here. Now another thing I've mentioned in the previous videos is one thing that you need to be accounting for is spreads when it comes to placing your stop loss, especially if you're selling, is be sure to account for spread, which is what a trade manager can do, especially one that you can just click and enter. The EA automatically does that for you, so it will adjust the spread of the pair at that exact time. So that is the main benefit of the EA. Again, obviously it's hands-free, but where you don't have to do anything, but it works all that out for you. Anyway, so that was USDCAD London. Now coming into New York, obviously here what you can see is the low gets taken, so we're looking to go long. So let's go to New York as we're here. So that was the trade that you saw. So coming in, so we're looking to find any sweeps of any lows. No sweep, no sweep. We have a sweep here. We take a loss, as you saw. We have a sweep here, entry there, take a loss again, as you saw. And then we have a sweep here, which was the winning one. Actually, sorry, I got that wrong. So what we have here is we have this sweep, which gets triggered in here, and now this sweep actually loses. So what you can see is this is actually a very good example for you. So we have this low, and then this is to about there. Now this loses, right? However, the sweep is still valid. It's not been invalidated by our invalidation rule, which is what you saw. So this candle took it out, and then we have a re-entry, which is here. Now, those of you who have obviously purchased the PDF would understand the invalidation rule perfectly. It's not something that I've gone into massive detail just because of the detail that's required to actually teach it and the amount of time. It's not something that I can really cover in this video, but that is the point of the PDF that will give that all for you and having the full rule set, as well as obviously the Blueprint Discord, which will teach the exact rule sets for everything. But anyway, what we have is a sweep here and then a stop loss below the low. And in this case, it looks like a hit, but in reality, it didn't, as you saw. So this case we'll be aiming for somewhere around here, and that's our TP hit on that one. Now you obviously now these trades that you're seeing in terms of breakdowns, it may seem like they're cherry pick trades. Now these are trades just on the last few days. I can show you trades over the whole week, and it's the same system repeated over and over again. And it is as simple as it seems. And again, the reason why I'm showing you both, where you can see the algo in action, and the reason why I'm demonstrating that is because for those of you who are on the fence about the algo, you can see how it works. You can see how it executes exactly how I show in the videos. But it also shows you how this edge actually functions, that what you can achieve from manual trading as well. For those of you who can't purchase the algo or don't want to and want to trade manually, I fully understand that, because it feels like you're doing something. When it gets to the point, what happens is you get excited about trading, then it goes to a point where it becomes not necessarily a chore, but like I can't necessarily sit and trade New York just because I'm quite busy with everything else that I have going on. The EA makes that easy for me, and if it's doing exactly what I'm going to do anyway, there's no point in me manually trading. That's the whole benefit, and it'll always get a better execution. That's my reasoning for it. But it's not to say that manual trading doesn't work. It does have its cons, but this shows you how effectively you can manually trade with a very simple and easy system. But just remember, just because it's an easy and simple system, it doesn't mean that it's not as effective as anything else, because the theory and the logic behind it is so complex, and it's been tested for so long. Just because of like creating this, I've gone through so many trial and errors to find the best timings, to find the best sweep rules, to find the best structure rules, the best invalidation rules. There's quite a lot of background work that's gone into this edge to make it as effective as it is, despite how simple it may appear. Anyway, I hope that you're enjoying these videos. Be sure to like and comment and subscribe if you haven't already. These videos take a long time for me to create, and it's a long time out of my week to actually do it and edit them and post them. So if you're enjoying the content, be sure to leave a comment just to say that how you're getting on with the edge. And again, if you message our Instagram or our live chat on the website, just let us know how you're getting on with the edge, because when you ask questions or when you send your results, it gives me more ideas as to what I can do and what I can record to produce content for you guys. Like, obviously, I can keep showing you breakdowns, but if there's the same question that's asked multiple times, I will address it in the next video. It's just a case of having that interaction. And again, I've given everything here for free just for giving you guys a way to get in to actually trading and having a system where you don't actually have to invest in yourself in terms of learning. Now, obviously, the difference is between when you pay to join, for example, and again, this isn't necessarily a pitch, but the reason why I feel that that is the best way, and I did it. I had multiple mentors in my journey, just because you will need to ask questions and you will have questions that you will need to, even for those who have purchased a PDF, you may still have questions, even though you have everything for you, and you'll go through it, you'll learn the edge, and you'll find a couple of things that you just need to clarify. That is the point of having access to myself and James. And unfortunately, that's not something I would do for free. It's just so much of my time, and there's so many of you. It's not something that I would rather give to. I'd rather make sure I'm giving time to those who invest back into myself, for example. That is the reason for it. But again, everything here is here for you. It's just a case of trial and error. And then if you want to speed up the process, then that is when you think about considering joining the mentorship or just joining the blueprint program, because you still have access to myself and James to full support. And then obviously you can take it a step further and purchase the algo where it will just do it all for you. And again, you still have access to myself and James. Not only that, for those of you who are actually thinking about purchasing the algo, and I don't think many people are aware that if you're going to purchase via crypto, just because of how crypto is at the minute, we reinvest everything. We can offer you a discount when you choose to pay via crypto or even wire transfer, just because we can reinvest that easily for us. And it works out better for us in that sense, in terms of our long-term goal with what we're trying to achieve ourselves. But then again, if we do currently have the BP15 code for the blueprint algo still active, which actually expires in, I believe, a day or 2 days. But if you miss it, feel free to let me know via email, Instagram, and I'll create the offer link, because I've actually been quite late in recording. I was meant to post this video on the 1st of May, which I didn't, and I'm only recording it now, which is a Sunday on the 3rd. So anyway, I am waffling now. I will leave you all be, and I'll speak to you. Oh well, I will speak to you all in the next video, hopefully with a bit more clarity and without the stuttering. Anyway, take care of yourself, and I'll see you in the next video.